Just a warning, HHE is rated R or 18 in the UK. Swearing and things like that will be in these episodes. Please do not listen around children. And let's get to the show. You have been warned. Welcome to HHE. That is Halloween Horror Events Podcast. We are a podcast about horror events in the UK and Orlando, Florida.
Yep. So you can also follow us on all our socials at HHE Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Everywhere you can find us.
And subscribe to us on all good podcast apps and make sure you give us a 5-star review. Cheers.
He forgot YouTube, guys. Get us on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. And that as well.
All yours, Simon.
What?
It's all yours. Take over. Come on.
Is it?
Yeah. I'll keep this bit in.
So
This is staying in this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to HHE, the Halloween Horror Events Podcast. I am one of your fantastic hosts, Simon. I'm also joined by the fat bastard himself, Phil, stuffing his face. And the other guy who the newly appointed HHE member, Joe. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, how you doing, mate?
It's all good.
One word answers tonight. Thanks.
Hey, you're leading today, mate. It's all your job. I'm sitting back.
Well, I'm just trying to crack a bottle of this crappy bottle opener I've got. This crap.
While he's doing that, I've opened a lovely San Miguel today. And what have you got, Joe?
I've got a delicious can of Budweiser.
I'm on the Moretti again. Proper one this time, not cheap.
The real stuff this time, mate.
Yeah, Julie bought it for my birthday, even though it's not my birthday till next week. Anyway, this episode, hey, what?
50th birthday, right?
40th, cheeky bastard. Anyway, this episode, we're going to give you some hints and tips of what we do to get ourselves over to Halloween Horror Nights in America. And just give you some general tips of how we do it. So I'll jump to Joel first. How would you normally get there?
Well, always fly direct for a start. Never do a connecting flight. It's too risky.
Right.
And it's always with BA or Virgin, whoever's cheapest at the time, really, which is normally BA, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, always out Gatwick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gatwick. Have you done? You've done Heathrow as well, though, haven't you?
We have done Heathrow. That was in February last year. That was only because of the pandemic, because no one was flying out of Gatwick, so we had to go to Heathrow. It's a bit longer, but 20 minutes extra on Gatwick, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. So I'm taking that's the same for you as well, Phil. Just sitting back trying to enjoy yourself.
Yes, it is the same for me. I'm always Gatwick because people from America or anywhere really who listens to this podcast. By the way, thank you for listening or watching, whatever. But I'm Gatwick because I literally live 5-10 minutes away by car. I'm in the town where Gatwick is. So I've done Heathrow once for December. I actually got the National Express. So people from even Brighton and that, you can get the National Express all the way to Heathrow, and it's pretty easy to tell the truth. I did it. Took me straight to my terminal. Well, actually didn't take me to the terminal. It took like a 10-minute walk after that because Heathrow is so big. But it's an easy way of getting there. So if you don't want to drive or you don't want to get a train, check out the National Express. A little hint with a tip with National Express coaches: book as early as possible because it's cheaper.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, up north, I've got 3 options at Manchester Airport. I've got TUI, Virgin, Aer Lingus. There is the option of British Airways, but that does fly down to Gatwick first or Heathrow. And it is usually direct. There is another option up this end for people who want to do Aer Lingus for Manchester. It's actually a sneaky little one, actually. What it is, you fly to Dublin first from Manchester. You have a connecting flight, but you pass immigration in Dublin.
Hmm.
So you land in the arrivals, in the departure lounge, departure area in MCO. So you don't have to mess about with all your customs. It's done before you get there. So it's usually about 11 to 12 hours to connect the 2 flights, but it can save you that hour and a half, 2 hours at customs. So it's 50-50.
What are the prices like with Aer Lingus?
Aer Lingus, at the moment, Aer Lingus are the cheapest, but obviously the price of the day at the moment. It's usually about maybe £10-15 more to do the connecting flight. It is a little bit dearer, but it can save you quite a lot of time. Because if you're on what you find when you fly in from Gatwick and Heathrow, you're usually behind the Manchester flight, so you'll get held up at customs in America because the Manchester flight usually gets in early.
Hey, not if you're British Airways, mate, because we're Terminal C.
I'm just listen. But as it stands, the Manchester flight is one of the first ones in to the US, but the timetables are changing, so keep your eye on that. I've actually done it quite a few different ways. I've done it with Virgin, I've done it with Aer Lingus. I flew with TUI, but that was when they went to MCO, and that is a difference between TUI and the other 2 companies.
Yeah.
Is TUI go to Melbourne, so it's about an hour and 40-minute transfer.
Yeah, no, in all fairness, we do have TUI and we do have Norse Air as well. And I think we have JetBlue at Gatwick,
Yeah.
but they're all add-ons. And the time you put all the add-ons on it, it's more expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same with all of them because like the flights. We've said all this before. I've been looking for September, and the cheapest I can get is £490, and that's hand luggage only.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's too expensive. Just for a weekend, it's just not worth the money. So, have you ever done? So obviously, never done the connection ones, but if you've done a connection one, if you're listening to this, let us know because some people I do know I've gone to New York, but stayed a few days in New York and then gone down to Orlando afterwards. Or some people flew to Miami as well, I believe, or flew from Miami on the way back. So that could be an option now because the Bright Line,
Right.
that's now more or less up and running. So it's an hour and 45 minutes from Miami to Orlando on the train.
I'm not sure. It's bloody quick.
Yeah, so that
For
could
where
be
it
another
is.
option. Looking at going from Miami or Fort Lauderdale, and there's also the option of Tampa as well. I know a lot of places people do fly to Tampa because it's a lot quieter airport, and by the time you get your car and you drive back out, it's about the same time
You see,
as MCO.
I feel it's same time. So for me, I just go MCO at that point because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just once I'm at the airport, I want to get there as quick as possible. Because the only
Yeah.
problem with MCO is basically getting your S's and that checked. But once that bit's done, and once you pass all that, you do fly through. But it's just it's
Yeah.
the luggage. The worst part of MCO is the luggage. Sort your lives
Well,
out, guys. And that's pre-pandemic as well.
No, you'll be able to vouch for that one when you go on your next flight because you have to pick your luggage up before you go through customs now.
Yeah.
Very confusing.
Which if you're just a couple going, it's easy. But if you've got 2-3 kids,
Yeah.
you've then got a car, all your luggage plus the kids. It's
Yeah, so have you done that yet, Joe, or not?
No,
No.
we've only flown out of Terminal C. It actually
Right,
opened the day we flew home last September.
Okay.
Yeah, but nothing was open. The only things that were open were the SeaWorld, Disney, and Universal shops.
Yeah, but I believe there's a lot more open now anyway. So
Yeah, well, they were giving away free food because none of the restaurants were open. We got free food, which is a touch.
well, it's at least there's something available.
Do you want my
Yeah.
personal opinion on that the terminal?
Go on.
Shit.
Go on.
It's shit.
It
It's just
looks like a
it looks like to me a modern art museum. The size of it, it's a bit lot, especially when you first walk into it. To check in that, it's a big lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it, so I've only seen the construction pictures. Because to be honest, I've not looked at it after even when it opened.
I must admit, I'm interested in September to see what's changed.
Yeah. Well, if you go on YouTube, you could try and search for some people's opinions on it and reviews, but there's not really much out there, to be fair. There's not many people who wants to know about a terminal in an airport. Not many
YouTube
people.
people.
There's not that many out there, though.
I'll tell you the truth, mate. When you record a video for vlogging, I'm not saying my vlog channel, but when you do, that seems to get a
Epic
hell of a
build
lot.
vlog.
He said it, not me. But that they seem to get a lot of views. They do. People seem to want to see the airport. I don't know why.
Yeah.
To me, airports are bloody boring.
Well, it's the start of your holiday or the end of your holiday. Yes, some people just want to remember or not remember. So let's move on to transportation from the airport. There isn't many options. Which one do you guys prefer?
Uber.
Uber? Right, Uber for Joe.
Right,
Bill.
cheap plug time now. I actually have been and using them for many, many years. Lanier Transportations, lovely family from
Link will
Orlando,
be in the
Florida
description below.
themselves. Unfortunately, the time this video comes out, I think there might only be a few days left. I think it's the 14th of April. They're doing a special deal for my Facebook group. Endless Summer Resort unofficial group. They're doing a special deal for us. They're doing a few deals in the other groups as well, Rosen in and all that as well. So go and check them out. They've got lovely new vehicles, aircon, salt of the earth, lovely people.
Even without the discounts, they're very reasonably priced for a family of four. I think it's round about $100 round trip.
You got to think how big the vehicles as well. They fit all your suitcases in. The beautiful new vehicles, and they make you feel like family. So as soon as you get in, it's not like an Uber driving that. Sorry, Joe. You know, get in my car and fuck off. I want your money. They want to get to know you. They'll even for an extra fee. They will take you to places like Walmart first if you want it before I go to the hotel. So you can do a bit of shopping. They will wait around for you, and then you go all the way to the hotel. So
and let them know that we sent you if you do use this. Just let them know. Just let them. Phil sent you to them. My personal way is I've done it by all three. I've done Uber, Lanier Transportations, and I usually get a car. I've since going in 2008, I've always had a car. But when I went in for the weekend, no, I did have a car when I went for the weekend. I think it was February 2022.
23 too.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, that one. That was the first time I didn't use a vehicle because I was staying on site at Universal and I didn't want to pay the parking fees. And I actually didn't really. I actually enjoy not having a car anymore. It sounds weird because I was so used to going everywhere, not having to worry about having to pick the car, wait for an Uber, wait for this, do that. It's my word. If you're not watching this on YouTube, get yourself onto YouTube now. And you wonder why Phil's so fat. That's all I need to say.
I learned this from Shaq. He does this on his podcast. He eats food.
Yeah. Well, if me and Joe are taking a leave for the next few, mate, you're not going to even be able to get on the plane to Florida in September.
Don't be jealous, mate. I've lost weight. In fact, you can actually see a neck again now.
So I've done hiring a car quite a lot of times. Best advice I can give you is do not book the insurance with the travel company you book with. Don't book it with Virgin or Thomas Cook. Get it yourself. You can get year-round travel car insurance worldwide for up to 60 days at a time.
Who would you say use?
I can't remember the company. They've changed the name. I think it was High Holiday Car Show or something. But it was about, last time I got it was £99 for the whole year. And you can use it anywhere in the world for up to 90 continuous days.
I've got a question. What about the tolls? That's one thing I don't understand.
The tolls, the option you've got is you can get a sun pass, which you prepay. I think it's around about $3 a day you use it, but then you pay your tolls on top. You just have a little voucher or a little key card in your car that registers your car going through. Or the other option is you can avoid them. It is easy enough to avoid the toll rolls. Usually the maps you get given when you get a car hire do go through the toll rolls. So there is the option. If you've got, no, there's not many UK companies doing it anymore, but if you have got free data or unlimited data and you can use it in the US, just put in on Google Maps and just put avoid tolls and it can take you just the same length of time.
If a sun pass only costs $3 a day, it's fucking crazy not to get.
Well, it's $3 a day plus you also have to pay for the tolls you go through.
Right. Okay.
you're
How much
paying.
are the tolls normally?
I think I did it the last time I went to Kennedy Space Center. I paid for the tolls as I went down, and that cost me about $11, $11 or $12 there and back.
Hmm.
Because they're all at different stages.
Yeah.
Some are $1.25, some are $2, some are $2.50.
Yeah.
It depends on when they are. But some pass does make it a lot easier just to drive straight through. You don't have to stop.
Let's think about something
Yeah.
about driving. This is for Craig, because Craig Lucas, man, I'm talking to you, mate. Yes, you, Mister, who wants everything to be an extra charge on top of everything you do. So us poor people can't go anymore. I suppose they haven't put toll roads in Disney's property yet. Can you imagine Disney tax? Ah,
Well, speaking of that,
Yeah.
there actually is a rumor. The current governor is trying to make all of Disney roads toll roads.
Oh
So,
my God,
yeah.
DeSantis, get a life, mate.
Well, that's just what's been flying around on the news at the moment over there. But yeah, it's relatively. If you are terrified of driving on the wrong side of the road, all I can say is
The wrong
Right.
side.
well, it's the wrong side. I don't care. It's the
Upset you there, mate.
I
Well,
don't
I'm,
care.
I'm going to upset our American friends again. A lot of the cars I've seen out there, they don't clearly know how to drive on any side of the road. Their
Yeah.
cars are a mess.
It's not as difficult as you think. The roads are quite wide compared to the UK roads, so they are a lot easier to drive on. And the only tip I would do if you do going to drive, if you hit a red light and you're turning right, and it doesn't say do not turn on red, just go. If it's clear, go, because you'll just get everyone beeping your ass behind you. It's an unusual thing for us in the UK, but turning right on a red light, you can do it if it's as long as it doesn't say do not turn on red.
It makes sense, though, really.
Yeah, it keeps things flowing. But
Yeah.
over in here, we don't have crossroads. We have roundabouts, which work a lot better than crossroads. So it's all
See
fair.
you at the crossroad.
You know.
Up.
But there is many companies at the airport, and there's some off-site as well, actually a little bit cheaper. Right, let's move on from transportations. Accommodation, because that's where you're going to be sleeping for most of the time. Where would you recommend if you were going, Joe? Out of
Well,
all the different areas, where would you recommend?
I love iDrive. You boys know that. I've been staying there since 1990.
Yep.
It's the same hotel as well. In fact, oh, Phil, this is so off.
It's disgusting. We'll just take a short break while Phil just stops his face. It's fine.
Oh man, yeah.
How big's that cake, by the way?
I can't look at him.
Just turn his screen off. Easter eggs are out next.
Right, where was I?
Where you usually stay, Joe?
iDrive, yeah. I always stay at the Rosen Inn at Point Orlando. I just like that end of iDrive. So many restaurants, so many good bars. And it's a good distance from Universal. It's a good distance from Disney, SeaWorld.
Yeah.
And without sounding too snobby, I'm not a snob. I think it's the nicer end of iDrive, personally.
Yeah. That's very understandable.
I agree to disagree these days, because I think the other end is now getting done up very well, and it's just as good.
Yeah, but
I would have said 3-4 years ago. I totally agree, but look wise now. The end where End of Summers and all that is now, it's getting proper done up now. Not down. I still think Universal are going to buy half them hotels out and knock them down anyway.
Yeah, Joe. So is that the actual only place you've stayed? You've never stayed anywhere else?
When I was younger, I went with my parents and we stayed on site at Disney. We stayed in the All Star Sports.
Yeah.
And we said never again, just because.
You're stuck.
You're in that Disney bubble, and we're not huge Disney fans. We like Disney, but we're not fucking obsessive over it, you know.
Yeah.
So we went straight back to the Rosen.
So yeah, go on then, Phil. Let us know where you stayed and what you would recommend.
Where have I stayed? I've stayed at some of the cheapest ever ones. I think it's called the Crown Plaza or something now, whatever it's called. Long story, that was our first holiday in Orlando. I stayed in Hollywood Studios. My family came back. When I got back, they all said, "Oh, okay, what's going on?" And I went, "The woman next door, someone just ran into her room and tried to rob her knife point." I'm like, "Oh, this is a great hotel, isn't it?"
Where was that?
I think it was called the Crown Plaza back then. Very small one, just behind KFC.
Yeah,
So it's just down there. It's just been done up last year. Actually, I went in there, had a nice little nose. Room still looks shit, but everything
yeah.
else looks nice. It was Bob Basics. We booked it. I've actually got the paperwork somewhere still for it. We booked it. It was our first time out there. We went to a travel agent. I hadn't a clue. Oh, this is a good price. We'll stay here. Since then, I've done the Rosen Inn International. I've done the Ramada Plaza Continental and Suite. I stayed in a club level suite there. What gets you on the roof? What gives you a jacuzzi, a pool, and all free drinks. And the rooftop. That was before even Universal thought about having a rooftop. So I did like that hotel, but they started to go a bit weird. They started to ask for like $100 to $200 deposits. Not
Yeah,
paying
a
that.
lot of them do now.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So went to the International Palms Resort. I've got no gripes with that. It's right, it's literally across the road from Ramada, actually. It's a nice little hotel. Understood what I've read lately. They're doing the rooms up again. What's good because it's a nice hotel. It's got a beautiful pool. It's got like a Starbucks in it and everything. It's actually a nice little find, but you have to be careful that one. If you're booking in UK, make sure you're paying the resort fees before you go, or you got to pay a resort fee when you're out there. So you think you've paid everything, and if you're a newbie, you're like panicking because loads of your money's disappearing because of that. So we've moved over to Cabana Bay. We've done that. I've done Disney's Art of Animation Resort. Love that. Great family one that is. I've done all 3 different suites. And finally, we've moved over to the end of summers. I've done Dockside once and Surfside twice, and I'm going back to Surfside. Surfside has become my home. So that's a Universal hotel. So pretty many, quite a lot of them. Mix myself around.
How long
So I
have you
like
got for
getting
mine?
around. Oh, well,
What about
yeah,
you?
yours is different. Yours is quite interesting why you do yours.
Yeah. Well, my first time I stayed, it was behind that Super 8 hotel. It was a travel lodge then.
The Haunted Hotel.
Yeah, it's behind where the Congo Golf is near the Denny's. That was the first time I stayed. I've also stayed at the DoubleTree at Hilton over on Major Boulevard, which is on the other side of the entrance to Universal, and the Holiday Inn side of it as well. They're actually not bad hotels to stay in if you don't mind a little bit of a walk to Universal. It's shorter than Endless Summer. And you used to have to cross Major Boulevard at Kirkham Road, which is a big like 8-lane road, but they put a bridge over now, so you can just walk over the bridge. The only problem with the Hilton is they do charge for parking. The Holiday Inn didn't, so I've stayed in them too. I've stayed at the Rosen Inn International on International Drive. Pop Century, I stayed there. The Universal, I stayed at Aventura, Royal Pacific, and next year I just booked Sapphire Falls, so I'll be staying there. And off I do have another few options. I've stayed at the Hilton Vacation Club Suite, which is right down at the very bottom of International Drive. It's actually got a gate onto what they called outlets. The outlets at the bottom. That's a massive big resort. I've stayed down there. I've stayed at the Hilton Vacation Suites at SeaWorld as well. A bit of a theme with these Hilton ones, because they're actually in partnership with Wyndham, because I have a timeshare at Bonnet Creek on Disney property. Well, Disney property. You go through the arches at Disney, but it's not Disney run. It's run by Wyndham, and there's a Hilton around there.
Is that by Disney Springs, isn't it?
Yes, it's literally you come out Disney. You can if you turn left, it takes you to Bonnet Creek. You turn right, it takes you down to Disney Springs, and Typhoon Lagoon as well. It's just down the corner. And I got it for an actual steal at the time. To be fair, looking at how much things are now, I've got it for a steal, and it's points based, so I can use the points whenever I like. I don't have to. I'm not fixed to a certain day, week, month. as long as I've got enough points, I can cover it. But also can transfer them into the RCI, which is another timeshare company, and that's how I've stayed at the Hiltons because they work out a bit cheaper. You've got to pay a bit of a fee. It's about $170 a week to stay, and I'm like $170. It's staying in 4 or 5 star resorts. It's brilliant, to be fair. And I can use them in the UK as well because I've actually used them in Europe. I have used them in Ibiza with my points as well, so I can use them anywhere in the world, to be fair. So that's my way. And now I've done them, I'll be using my points when I can because I do use them every 2 years rather than every year. Helps me build the points up, so it's easier to use. And then I usually stay on site now. I don't think I won't stay on site again. I'll either stay on site when I'm not. If I haven't got using my points, I'll stay on site. It's just so much easier, especially Universal. Because Disney, I'm just not bothered about Disney anymore.
Yeah,
Disney's just it's super expensive.
Yeah,
for what you get.
Super busy, super expensive. I mean, the only reason we go there is for the youngest. The eldest is too bothered about it. He'd rather just go to Universal. But the trouble is, Lily's only 2, so there's nothing really she can go on at Universal. So we've got to go to.
Yeah, maybe 2025 when Epic opens up and we find out what's happening with Kids Zone. I think that's up. They said 2024 for that, so that could be next year as well. Because they have literally flattened it. Everything at Kids Zone has been completely flattened except for Woody's Nuthouse Coaster.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they turn that into. That's really it for hotels. So the other big expense. Tickets.
Yeah.
What are your recommendations for tickets, boys? Because I've got my recommendations and I'll say mine till the end.
Well, first things first, if you're going for a weekend, I think Universal are missing a trick and not bringing back the BOGO. The buy one, get one free night. I think that was such a clever idea by them. If you go in September, it's always going to be the rush of fear, isn't it? Yeah. It depends how long you're going for, really.
Well, I'm not just saying about Halloween tickets. I'm also saying general tickets as well.
Well, in that case,
if you want to go to Halloween Horror Nights and you want to be in the park before, you're going to need a pass to get in.
One thing, just for newbies, just in case there's a newbie listening, Halloween Horror Nights is a separate event, so you have to pay for the ticket on top. So even if you've got a Universal Park ticket, that will not get you in for Halloween Horror Nights. So let's point that out straight away, just in case someone new is listening. As Simon says, but if you have a Universal Park ticket for Universal Studios, or if you have both tickets for both parks, you can get in early and then hang around into the what they called? I never do them.
Holding areas.
The holding areas.
Stay in screen.
Yeah, stay in screen. But you can also, if you don't have a Universal ticket, you can actually pay for that holding area as well. There's a ticket for that, I think.
Yeah, you got that, didn't you, Joe, last year?
Yeah, we did. Scream Early, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And it was about $25 a person.
I so wanted to say something crude out. I'm going to hold back.
Behave yourself.
Just in case anybody's listening, I have tried to be a bit more nice this week. There's nothing about my nan and her toys coming up this week.
You just brought it up again.
Yeah, but I didn't say what toy was. If they haven't listened to episode 1, you're in for a shock if you do. But yeah, anyway, explain this ticket, Joe.
How much was it? Scream Early. It was either $15 or $25 a person per night.
It's just there on a plate,
mate. All right, I'm going to be professional, and it gets you into the park. I think it was 2 hours before park closure, so you can do a couple of rides if you want. And we didn't. I don't think we did. I think we just went in.
This Scream Early, you can come early, right? That's what you're saying.
Come really early, yeah.
Okay. What? I'm just asking a serious question. There's nothing wrong with that question. I feel like your mind took that to the wrong place, mate.
Is it something you're used to?
What? Screaming early, or or getting off early? Either both.
Time is disgusting.
I also cry.
I'm trying to control this. I've just give up now.
Okay. That's just my crew bit there, guys. I am done. Back to your ticket.
That's it. It gets you into the park early. It's not well, it wasn't expensive. I think I can't remember if it was 25 or 15 a person per night, but either way, it's still well priced.
Yeah, it's a good option because obviously, if you're only going to go, like a lot of people do go when we have recommended going for a weekend, buying a Universal ticket. I think at Universal, I think they're like $330, £330 now for a 14-day ticket.
Yeah, you can get it cheaper. You can get cheap tickets on Undercover Tourist.
Yeah, but there's still daytime tickets, and you put the exchange rate in. You're better off buying the 3-day plus 2 at Universal.
Yeah,
they work out to be about the same price.
Sometimes it's even better just buying the 14-day ticket anyway,
Yeah,
and turn it into an annual pass.
I think that is our plan for next year. We're going to get annual passes and then go back within 12 months to get the use of them.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
That sounds like a good idea. But like Phil was alluding to, the Halloween Horror Nights tickets are currently available, but single day only. Don't panic. Where are the fair passes? Where are the fair passes? Don't worry, they will come out. They usually come out in June, July. Just bide your time. There will still be the options that there usually is. I can't see them changing it. It works.
They're not going to change anything because if they want to change something, the single night tickets would have dates you have to book, and they're not. They're generally saying show up any day you want. Really, still. So,
moving on to extra tickets you can put on top of them. You've got the express.
It's Easter Sunday in England as we record this. Extra, get it? Extra.
Can someone just take him away, please?
At least it's not rude.
Anyway, express passes. You can add them onto your tickets that you've already purchased, or as Phil alluded to last year, you can get one around about 11 o'clock at a reduced rate if they're available for the last few hours of the event, and it's about $60, was it?
75.
Express passes.
75.
75.
Yeah,
I don't know. You bought one, Phil. You can't. Much use of tips on a fish.
In theory, I could go and Revolut and go back.
Well, we got them and then messaged you, didn't we, Phil?
Yeah, because I was pissed off how busy it was that night. Actually, shockingly busy.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but if you don't want to do during the day, you can get just the Halloween Horror Nights tickets. Turn up as the park opens, or what I would personally do is turn up a little bit relatively late, about 7:30, let all the mad crowds come in, and just stay till close. Stay to that 2 o'clock closing, because between like 12 and 22, you'll fly through some of the houses.
If I'm looking at this right, I can't remember the bloody date of it. I don't know if it's still on here. It might be only showing me my English stuff. I'm on the English one, that's why. Oh, Revolut, you bug me. Go continue, guys. I'm going to figure out the price while you're doing it.
Well, that's really covered all the things for.
I would say let's do a part 2 for YouTube because I don't want the YouTube video to be long. So, people, if you're watching the YouTube, I promise you the next part will be out the next day. If you're on the podcast, don't just continue and listen because we will continue on as a podcast. That's nice and simple. But as YouTube from now on, I've decided I want the videos longer than 25, 20, 30 minutes long. Yeah. So on YouTube, get over to. Thank you for watching this one. Subscribe to the next one, blah, 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 all that jazz. And we'll be back in a second.